So when you started, we mentioned you were first working with that transition coach and to kind of work out what it was you wanted. I'm really interested, when you look back now on what you were doing before, you know, the kind of, you know, employed life, do you look back on any aspects of that and feel either surprised or shocked or very differently now looking back at it than you did at the time?
Oh yes, completely. Yeah, a lot of things.
Tell me something about that.
I think I gained confidence in myself. I mean, typically, you know, having this talk like that, I wasn't doing that at all before. And, you know, going on stage, having interviews, having presentation, I wouldn't do that. Maybe Vafa told you about that, but really, I think the turning point was the beginning of the lockdown, where I was asked, you know, by our mentor to publish more videos, to be online while this whole pandemic was on, and that we were locked down at home, that we needed to be visible on social medias, organizing, you know, webinars and so on. And he asked me to do a video, and I said, okay, I only have one video. It's a video I did with my daughter dancing, and really publishing that on LinkedIn, thinking I'm crazy, is going to backfire on me. In fact, it just was the right moment, and something just changed in my mind, saying, well, you know, everything is possible. Maybe people won't like it, but that's part of life. I have things that people publish or show that I don't like, but that's fine, you know. Again, it's the principle of working and exchanging with like-minded people.
And I think that's what your transition coach worked with you on. I loved what you said, that the work starts with you.
Yeah.
You need to start working on you before you have a clear definition of who your identity is, what your identity is, who you are, what you want, what rocks your boat, what your beliefs are, what your values are. And that's when you then go and attract people of the same mindset. And that's when you are accepting of who you are. And it doesn't matter to you if people don't like or accept you as you are. I think they're very simple to talk about. You have to accept yourself first. You have to do that work on yourself first. And it's something that was always quite airy-fairy to me when people said that. And I just couldn't comprehend what that meant until I went through that process and I kind of understood. And, you know, on the same line as you, visibility was really difficult for me. And now I am quite visible, and I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's absolutely fine. And, you know, some people I'll impact, and they're the people that I want to impact, and others will probably find me most boring and too kinesthetic for them or whatever, or my content's not right. And that's absolutely fine. It's having that understanding of what you're about and how you want to show up. And then you can go and be of value to your customers. So I love what you said.
But also, people must understand that the process won't be done in one day. Some people will go faster than others because they've already worked on it prior to making a decision to change job, or because they lost their job. But the process can sometimes take weeks. For me, it took, you know, a few months, because you know, at the same time I had to go back on the market, redo my CV, and I remember, I think it was only at the last session that I had with my transition coach that I came back and I had to tell her what I wanted to do. And I arrived and I said, well, I'm going to set up my own business. And she looked at me saying, I knew it, but you were not ready for it. You had to go through the whole path and take the decision by yourself.
Stéphane, you said a moment ago that one of the important steps there was that you have to accept things about yourself that maybe you either didn't understand or didn't accept before. Can you tell me about that? What were some things that you found that you accepted about yourself, having been through that process?
I think it's more to trust myself. I always wanted to have the approval of others. So whatever I was doing was to get some approval, you know, from my boss, from my colleagues, from my employees. And I mean, you cannot have approval of everyone. And I think the most important point that I discovered is that, well, you know, I can make my own decisions. They have an impact, good or bad. Again, people will like what I'm doing or agree with what I'm saying or not. But the important thing now is that I accept that, and I don't feel, I used to feel bad about it, and you know, so again, maybe hiding and not talking about it. Now I'm confident enough that what I'm doing is great for me, and if it's not great for others, that's fine. That's part of life, you know. You have somebody who is able to run a marathon. I'm not able to run a marathon. That's fine. I'm not jealous about the guy who is running the marathon. That's great for him, and you know, it's fantastic.
That's fun. That is
I
really
might run a marathon one day.
You might run a marathon. Is that why it's just tickling away at the back of your mind? It's like a secret dream. So, who has to agree with the decisions you make now? So, if before your decisions, you forced yourself to require someone else to agree with them, boss, colleague, who has to agree with your decisions now?
First, me. I must agree with myself that I'm making the right decision. You can make mistakes. We all do mistakes. Of course, as I'm running the business with my business partner and wife, we have to agree together that we're making the right decision.
Sure.
But first, when I'm doing something, now I have to agree with myself that I think it's fine, and I move forward. Especially, I think I grab opportunities now.